donating your time to lead this session, and I'll turn it over to you. We'll leave this open just a little in case we have a late comer.
You gonna sit in with us, or you gonna stay out?
We have a bunch of stuff out here, so we're gonna leave.
Oh yeah, you don't want anyone to steal all that. So good morning, my name's Burton Kelso. I'm the tech support company called, hey, what's up? Called Integral. We've been in business 29 years, and all that stuff that Geek Squad does, we do. So we do repair with Macs, Windows, smartphones, all that other good stuff. But not here to talk about Integral. I'm here to talk about social media and what a problem it is when it comes to hackers. Same thing with websites too. So I brought this up, but we're gonna go over it as far as how to connect with people in DEW. So one of the first tips that I was going to share was how to instantly connect on using UR codes on LinkedIn and Instagram. And feel free to scan mine up here if you want to see it. So there's my LinkedIn QR code. So show of hands, I know a couple of you already have it. How many have LinkedIn on their smartphones? Yes? Everyone's like, oh, I got it on my phone. So open up your LinkedIn on your accounts real quick so you can kind of get a general idea of how this all works. Because it's pretty easy, quick way. Because on social media, people have different spellings of their names. And the good thing about social media is if you connect with someone once, you're connected forever. Because the first thing that people do when they have career changes is they update their social media accounts. So raise your hand when you get LinkedIn open on your smartphone. And that was, well, Shauna, you already.
No.
You got LinkedIn open? Got LinkedIn? So if you're in the app, what you want to do is go to the top of the screen where it says search, and then just click on it. What should happen is you should get a QR code in the upper right-hand corner, the little square-looking thing. Click on it, and it'll bring up your LinkedIn QR code, and you should have something similar to what I've got on my screen. All right. So what you do with that is that you can share it with another person. So Shauna, and I use you as a guinea pig. And your name, ma'am?
Here.
Come on up.
Okay.
With your phone. Right. And don't kick the camera yet. Oh, don't knock my phone down. All right.
Thanks.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
How you doing? We're role playing.
Okay, so
Are you here for, what are you here for? How to stay safe on social media?
yeah.
Okay, have a seat. You're in
Anywhere?
Anywhere, I don't care. Just don't knock the camera down.
Okay, so the camera's going this way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's coming
Do
this
you
way.
want to come over here? This
Yeah.
is easy.
Yeah, there you go. Just slide around the corner there. Okay, so we're playing role play with LinkedIn. So I don't know if you're on LinkedIn or not. Okay, so LinkedIn has QR codes, kind of like displayed on the screen here.
Okay.
So to quickly connect with people on LinkedIn, and I'm just showing this because it's DEW, you can use your QR code rather than typing someone's name in. So.
Okay.
All right, so let's role play. So Shauna, you want to go to the section that says scan on LinkedIn, so that way you can connect to
Oh,
Karen.
perfect.
I thought you knew
did-
this.
Not this part.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
tried it.
So let's pretend you two know each other, like, or don't know each other. And I'm gonna do Karen's way. Hey Shauna, how are you doing, girl? And you're like, what's up, Karen?
Oh, I love your shirt.
I love your shirt. Yeah, let's connect. And are you on LinkedIn? Yeah, girl. So then what you would do, Karen, is you would show Shauna your
Yeah.
phone, then take your camera and zoom it in and
Look how
lo and
fast
behold.
that is.
So now the key is once you connect, you want to click on connect, not follow. So go to the dots.
Oh, the dots.
And then click on connect. And what it'll do, it'll send Shauna's request to Karen, and then Karen has to accept the LinkedIn connection. So that's how it works. You don't have to do it back and forth.
Well,
Well,
she's
I mean,
practice.
Oh, you hit accept. And then there you go. Yeah, that's how you do it. Now you two are connected forever on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So did you understand how that all
That's
works?
good.
All right, good. So stay up here because we're going to talk about Insta too. So who's on Instagram?
Me.
All right, everyone's on Instagram. So do you know Instagram's got QR codes too? No, you don't, because you got that look on your face. So if you want to connect with someone on Insta, go into Instagram. Once you're in Instagram, on the main screen, you want to click in the lower right-hand corner where your profile picture is. And it'll take you.
Well,
What are you doing, Sean?
Stop.
What? Go home. Oh, you are
yeah,
home.
yeah.
No, you're not home.
That's my thing right there.
So click here.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then-
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I gotta find my app. I
Oh,
get them all over the place.
See.
You got to search for Instagram. So go to search, type in Insta. Keep going. There you go. It's another quick tech tip. Just search
Oh,
for
okay.
it. So then what you would do,
Oh, yeah.
Karen, is you would go down to where your picture is, click on the little doohickey up there.
The 3 lines.
Yeah, the 3 lines, and then click on
Oh, the
QR
native
code, and then it works the same way. You gotta click on QR code. Okay, so down at the bottom, you can actually scan the QR code. Uh-oh.
Choose above style.
I'm trying to go to scan. There we go. So now Shauna can take her phone and connect with Karen. So hit follow, and then Karen, you'll get a request from Shauna to follow her, which you better do, or else
You
we'll
want to
let you down.
practice mine?
Yeah, you can practice her.
Uh,
So yeah, that's awesome. I know that has nothing to do. Well, it kind of has to do with social media because we're talking about how to keep your account safe. But this is a quick and easy way to get connected with people on social media. And you can also download your QR code like I have here. So like if you wanted to turn your cameras on and scan my QR code, you could definitely do that. You can save it to your phone, email, and send your QR code to anybody.
Cool. Wow.
Good
Here's
little
my
tip.
QR code. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to practice.
So-
Here's my Instagram.
Oh, that's too funny.
Okay.
So to break up the
Did you get
monotony
there?
of this presentation, we're going to play a little game called Myth or Fact. So myth or fact is just I throw up a random image, and then I'm going to ask if it's a myth or if it's a fact. So here we go. Myth or fact? The Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower in the year 1621. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Just guess. Fact. Anyone else?
Fact.
Fact. It's a fact. They did come over in the winter of 1621, which almost led to their demise. In fact, half of them died before the following year for Thanksgiving. So there you go. So let's talk about social media and websites. And the challenge with social media and websites now is obviously they're all web-based. So it makes it very easy for cyber criminals to be able to get access to your accounts. Because if you can access your social media account from anywhere in the world or your websites from anywhere in the world, that means hackers can do the same thing. And one of the things that has changed in our digital world, especially with websites, is that companies like GoDaddy, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify are all web-based portals. And the reason that these companies have switched to a portal like this is because they want to make it easier for the consumer. But unfortunately, that makes it easier for the cyber criminal as well to get access to your stuff. So one of the other issues that we need to talk about too is the whole world of cybercrime and how it works. Now, unfortunately, in our day and age, cybercrime is a human problem. That means your websites, your devices, your computers, all of everything that you own is safe from cyber attacks. Well, 99% of cyber attacks. Most attacks are going to occur if you accidentally give out your personal details to someone to access your accounts. Even large-scale data breaches that you see from large companies, like I think it was a couple of years ago where Colonial Pipeline got hacked and people on the East Coast were like pouring, well actually they were going to the gas pump with their trash bags and filling up their trash bags because the price of gas was raising because Colonial Pipeline was shut down because of the cyber attack. But that cyber attack occurred because someone from the company clicked on an email that opened ransomware and held Colonial Pipeline hostage. Same thing with, and I always forget about the third credit bureau company got hacked. So there's Equifax, there's Experian, and what's the last one? Come on, help me out, people. TransUnion. TransUnion servers got hacked earlier this year because the password to the TransUnion server was password.
No.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
You're talking to major companies that are around longer.
Exactly, that has all of our information.
Is
Yeah.
that arrogant? That's stupid.
That's just human error.
I feel like that's.
And I think it's kind of arrogance too.
I think that's stupidity.
And having that mentality of no one's going to
Yeah.
hack my stuff. And the problem is individuals and small businesses have that issue too. I know a lot of the customers that we deal with, you know, their passwords are passwords, and obviously I can't give out my customer list, but we deal with it even on the small business level. So it's dealt with all levels of businesses and with individuals, and that's why cybercrime continues to be a problem. And cyber criminals who are your not your kids in the basement, but large criminal organizations, that's all they do is to figure out how to get into your accounts. And if they're online, they're a little bit more accessible. So keep that in mind when it comes to your stuff. So, I don't know why that's up there. But anyway, we'll go with it. I think I was talking about websites and social media and the fact they're in the cloud. But you have to use common knowledge in order to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, because you are the guardian to all of your social media and your website. So you have to do things that are prudent in order to help keep you safe from cyber criminals. But let's go back a few slides real quick, because we can talk about this whole web design thing. So just a quick question. As far as websites are concerned, is anyone in here designing their own website or handling their own website? All right, so can I ask, since we've got an intimate group, Shauna, what are you designing your website in?
The platform?
Yeah, the platform,
It's
I'm
called
sorry.
Doodah.
See, I've never heard of Doodah. Doodah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Okay, Karen, what about you? What are you designing yours in?
Actually, I have 3 different websites. One's gonna be,
You just had to show up. I got 3 websites.
no, I just had a lot of things on my plate. Postpartum care, I got mombabyartist.com.
But what are you designing them in?
What do you mean first?
The platform that you're
Oh,
creating your
platform,
website.
I'm using WordPress through Bluehost.
Okay. Sir, your name?
Randy,
Randy. Okay, what are you using?
WordPress.
WordPress? Okay. Your name, sir?
Simon,
Okay, and you're using?
Verstack.
I've never heard of that before. Is it web-based?
It's pure HTML, CSS,
Oh.
but using Mongo and React and.
So when you put your website together, you're basically doing all the coding for your website,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So I will say, and then, okay, last but not least, what are you designing your website in?
I didn't do it. My husband's a web developer and he insisted on building it from nothing.
That's good, because you two are the exception to the rule as far as websites. Because if you put together an HTML website from your own coding, it definitely helps protect you from criminals. Now the challenge when you do an HTML website is what plugins are you using with that website that can cause criminals to get in. So plugins, for those who don't know, are programs that are attached to your website that allow it to be a little bit more robust. Now, if you're using WordPress, you're more familiar with plugins because WordPress has a plugin for just about flipping everything. And you have to worry about plugins with any website because you don't know who the author is of this plugin. So a plugin could actually have malicious code or be poorly designed, which will allow criminals to get into your website. So most people that do HTML websites usually just do everything from scratch rather than relying on third-party sources in order to infiltrate it. Now, if you're using like a Doodah or even a WordPress, the challenge is that it's a site where your platform is accessible to anybody. If it's HTML, it's not necessarily accessible because you're using your own username and password to put all your coding to your site. And it's coming from a different source. But if you're using a WordPress, if someone gets your WordPress credentials, they can just easily log into your site, take it down. They can steal your credit card information because obviously if you're using WordPress or like a Doodah or even a Wix or a Squarespace, you've got your credit card information on there because you're paying for the hosting service of that site. So it just opens you up to a little vulnerability. Now on the website side, it's a little bit easier to just say, if you're gonna have a website, you probably just need to have someone design a website for you. I mean, that's one of the most secure ways that you can go. But that's not feasible if you're starting up a business or if you have a limited budget for your business or you just don't have the time to do HTML. Maybe you're good at graphic design, but you don't know the back-end programming for it. So doing one of those site builder tools to do your website is easier, but again, it puts you a little bit more at risk and you have to understand the challenges of that. Now, as far as social media is concerned, social media obviously is web-based, period. There's no special portal that you can log into to get into your social media accounts. I mean, if I can get to Facebook for myself, I can log into Facebook if I have your credentials from anywhere in the world. Now, the good thing about most social media sites is that you do have the ability to have the social media platform track where you log in. and that includes TikTok, LinkedIn, all of them. So if you set up your account properly, you can see where your last logins occur. And if they're within your geographic reach of where you've been, then you can kind of have an idea if someone is actually logging into your websites. Because a lot of times criminals won't log into your social media accounts and do anything nefarious at first. Sometimes they'll just log in just to see if they can access stuff. They won't make any changes. They'll just make sure that you're keeping the same pattern of what you normally do. And that pattern normally is not changing your passwords. But once criminals get a good idea of what you're doing, then that's when they start to commandeer accounts. Now, we'll have to say with social media, there are two different things that can occur. You can have a social media account that's, come on in, Zane. How are you?
Fabulous.
You missed out on her. I know you missed. Where are you gonna sit?
I'm gonna sit right.
Okay. Maybe I wanted you by the camera. Jimmy, maybe I wanted you by the camera.
Well, I don't want to bump the camera today.
You can bump the camera.
That's fine. Today, I'll be right here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Everybody a bit nervous?
So just to recap on what we were talking about, saying is the fact that. So real quick question: what do you design your website in? What platform?
WordPress.
Okay, so you're with the trio here. We've got a trio
but my
WordPress.
daughter's in Squarespace.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So you're like the perfect storm because you've got both platforms going on.
Yes.
So one of the things I was talking about is the fact that if you're using a WordPress or Squarespace site, you can access it from anywhere in the world. Like if you want to update your site, you just go on anywhere where you are. Well, it puts you in danger because that means cyber criminals can access it too if they have your credentials.
Yeah.
Now, what I was saying to, because the couple, they're not together, but you got two HTML designers in the back, or at least her husband
Yeah.
is doing it. For HTML, if you're designing from scratch, it's hard for a criminal to get in.
Correct.
Because you are doing the coding, there's not much that they can do. But a cookie cutter site like Squarespace or WordPress,
Yes.
anybody can do some. So on to social media. So social media is accessible from anywhere in the world, right? So if someone has access to, so if I can log into Facebook for me, if I get your credentials, I can log into Facebook for you and put all sorts of stuff on there. I can even get a hold of your TikTok, obviously, and
Yeah.
you
And I
know.
can attest to that too. My nonprofit, my ex-boyfriend was very angry with me.
Really?
So, yeah. So
Wait a minute, you had what do they call that when it happens?
Battered girlfriend syndrome.
Well, yeah, no, well, I mean, that's it. But it's some type of bullying where
Yeah.
someone can get access to your website, and that not only happens with. You said that not only happens with social media, like in your instance, but it can also happen with your website too.
Yeah. He took the website too.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I just got it back like 8 months ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
And I lost everything.
oh yeah. So the challenge is that with a lot of these sites, if you lose it, you can't get it back.
No.
There's no support whatsoever. HTML, the good thing about it, if you build it from scratch, you can just upload the code again to the website.
Correct.
But yeah, if you have like social media or a website, unfortunately in Sane's incident, if you lose it, it's done. You have to start all over again. And I mean, if you want to talk about the hard task of getting it back or starting all over, just go over the same. I mean, I know it wasn't an easy process at all, was
No,
it?
absolutely not.
'Cause I mean,
And I had to wait till like they released the domain name and see all that.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very messy breakup.
Oh my, I would say
This
so.
one's awful.
It is awful.
That's
That's
like,
horrible,
it's
Sane.
like worse than a divorce. I feel like I've never been married. So.
Right, exactly. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is
That's really hard
crazy.
whenever you got a site that you've got a specific name for, and you don't wanna have to alter that.
Yeah.
And start all over again, because that's the name that you picked out to have specifically for that site, so.
So let's go back to what, I know I keep jumping back between like two slides, but let's go back to websites. So the other thing that you have to worry about, other than a disgruntled better half, what if you have a disgruntled customer who is tech savvy and decides to commandeer your stuff? True story, there was an African American lady who owned a bookstore, or owns a bookstore in Kansas City, and her site was commandeered by hackers to the point where they turned it into a ransomware site. So if you visited the site, then you would get ransomware downloaded onto your computer, and she lost everything too, and it made like local news of how it happened. And I think she was using Squarespace. So I mean, there's real dangers if you're an individual or who has a brand or wants to do branding, or if you're a company that wants to have branding, because if you lose it, you lose it. And it's really important for you to take steps in order to make sure that it never happens, because you don't reclaim that stuff back. Even though Sane may have had photos and like text from her website and from her social media accounts, a lot of times you don't keep that because you think it's in the cloud and it's on your social media accounts and that you can get it again. But you really can't because it's in the ether. And with even the money that these tech giants make as far as social media, they don't have any help. There's no support at all. And another example I can bring out is one of our customers had her Facebook account hacked, and criminals got away with $6,000 because her credit card information was on her Facebook account because she used her business account to boost posts on social media. See, people don't think about that either. You may have uploaded your credit card to like Facebook or Insta or whatever to like boost your posts, but then they're able to get access to your information. Yes.
So that makes me think of, in general, whenever I give somebody my credit card number, sometimes there's an option to check a box, save your credit card information for future orders or whatever. I never check that.
Somebody fall down out there. Well, I mean, it's okay.
Is that saving me anything?
It's not really doing it because I mean, the challenge is that if you give some of your credit card information, it's in their database.
Yeah.
Like I've got a real estate speaker friend who was nervous because she used Square like for electronic point of sale, and then it emailed her receipt. And so she's like, well, where the heck is this email coming from? I never did give the company my email. And so after a couple of times of explaining to Michelle, I'm like, yeah, you don't understand that you gave out your email months ago when you first did your transaction with Square. So Square holds all of that email information for your convenience so that when you go get your cup of joe or whatever Square vendor you're working with, that it'll conveniently give you the option to have a receipt email. But they store all of that information and people aren't aware that once you give it out, then most, especially point of sale companies, are going to hold on to that information. Yes.
Okay, so you brought up Square as a POS. That's
Yes.
what I do.
Right, I do too. I love Square. And Square is secure. It's a true story, and then I'll let you tell your story.
Okay.
So one of our technicians got into, or tried to get into our Square account. They were disgruntled. There's between two. They sucked as a technician, but they decided they were going to try to get back at us and start to have our credit card transactions go into their bank account as opposed to our company account. And the challenge is that our techs, when they're out in the field, they use Square to run credit card transactions. And so they tried to be savvy and take the Square information and have it go into their account. Well, luckily for me and for Square, I had two-factor authentication set up to say, hey, is this you trying to transfer bank information? Well, it caused a problem because it stopped all our credit card transactions from going to the bank. Square just said, we'll take the credit cards, but we're not depositing the funds in any account until someone verifies that you're trying to change bank accounts. So I did, a ton of money flowed in because it had been months, because my office manager didn't realize that she should have, but she didn't realize all these credit card transactions weren't going into our company account. But it turned out that Square was able to track down the IP address, the time and the date when someone was trying to change account information. So I'm 100% a Square, as far as Squarespace and a Square point of sale fan. So with that said, go ahead with your story.
Well, so I'm clueless on all this stuff, and sometimes they'll send me emails. This is changing, this, beware of this, upgrade to your chip reader.
Right.
Okay, which I did.
Okay.
I don't even purchase anything if they're still using the swiper.
Oh, really?
I won't use the vendor if they're still
What about the chip?
The chip I'm okay with. I
Okay.
feel safe with that.
Right.
And Square also gives you the opportunity to store customer credit card numbers. I
And
don't do that either.
Well, the good thing about Square, and I don't know if you knew this or not, you can go into Square, if you deal with a Square merchant and request that your credit card information be taken down. Because if you go with a Square vendor, it's going to save the credit card information.
Okay.
But
So
as a customer,
I
you can go in and say,
control
as a customer, you can go in and say, I don't want it to store that information. I want to give out my information each time. And so some of our customers will allow us to store it, but other customers are like super, I won't say paranoid, super cautious, and they want to make sure that their credit card information isn't stored on the web. So you have that option to take that off.
And how do I do that as a customer?
I think you have to go, well, number one, you can call who you're dealing with and say, take my credit card information
The
off.
vendor.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can go to the vendor, or you can go to where your credit card transaction came in via email, and then it'll let you take your credit card information off.
Okay.
You'll still be a customer within the Square system.
Right.
It's just your credit card information won't be stored.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you, because our techs, when they go out, we save our customers' credit card information unless they requested to take it down. But we do it so when our technicians are out in the field, they don't have all of our customer credit card information, which, you know, safeguards our customers. So anyway, same thing with social media. Of course, Sane went through this whole situation, so you want to definitely make sure that you are password protecting your information. And again, the challenge is all the information stored in the cloud, so that means it's accessible to anyone in the world that can get access to your information. So we're human. We make stupid mistakes when it comes to cybersecurity. So the idea behind this whole presentation is to make sure that you're making smart choices when it comes to your social media accounts and your websites, because it's a small business, and even as an individual, if you're an influencer, that is your brand, that is your reputation. And the internet obviously never forgets anything. It's like the elephant. So you want to make sure that you're doing stuff in order to keep your account safe. Now, unfortunately, phishing is one of the most common ways that people and companies are going to get tricked. You get an email, you get a text message, you get a phone call asking for personal information. You give it out because you think it's from a trusted source, and that's how most of your security breaches occur, is some phishing scheme. So if you get phished from whatever method, whether it be email, voice, or even text message, just be very careful of anything that comes in. Because if you're giving out personal information, then chances are criminals are going to use that and take that information and log into your accounts. Again, for the people who walked in late, all of your tech devices are safe from 99% of the cyber attacks out there. It's usually through phishing schemes, and from people finding your information on the dark web that allow them to get access to your online accounts. Because I know when it comes to like cybercrime, people, oh my gosh, I must have got hacked. You know, it's my fault. I've got weak devices. But there's no firewall. There's no VPN software. There's no antivirus software that's going to prevent you from giving out your information to criminals. So you can have all of that, but you can still get hacked. Just like Colonial Pipeline. What, did you get a phishing message just now?
Oh, yeah, this one was from Amazon, supposedly.
Oh, really?
Last night. And it says Amazon signed in a tip from Texas, U.S. cap link to respond.
Well, what you can do with a report like that, rather
Just
than
go to Amazon directly.
oh my gosh, Karen, you're a woman after my own heart. That's exactly what you do. You know, any phishing message, you go directly to the source, because most sites now are set up where you can go, where did I log in last? And Amazon, because of all that they encompass, is one of those sites where you can say, where did I log in last? LinkedIn's another one. Facebook's another one where you can say, where did I log in last? And I think even like, I don't know if Wix necessarily does that, but you can check with WordPress or even Squarespace or Squarespace, or what's yours again, Shauna?
I think.
Doodad.
I think.
Zippity Doodad.
Doodah.
Say again, you heard of that? That's,
Zippity Doodah?
well, not the term. The tool that allows you to edit your website. There's a website builder called Doodad. And that's what Shauna uses.
Type Dream. That's another one.
What's
Type Dream is another one that some people are pushing. It's, I don't know. I haven't done it.
One I forgot to mention was Shopify. Shopify is another site builder tool that a lot of people are starting to use too. So Doodad is what Shauna's using, yeah. I don't know why. Makes you want to dance. I know, right? You do that. So this slide represents credential stuffing. And credential stuffing is the act of criminals getting on the dark web, buying your information, and using your credentials to log into any of your online accounts, including your social media accounts, email, and websites. And there have been tons of data breaches since 2012. I mean, that's just when the era of cybercrime really turned from criminals taking the time to try to break into your devices into an area where people are just grabbing credentials off the internet and using them to stuff. I don't know if you guys realized the hack a few years ago where mom was complaining that criminals had gotten to her Ring account. They were like taunting the mom and the boy, like, we see you and stuff like that. So she put out the alert that, oh my gosh, Ring had been hacked. And Ring's like, no one's been in our systems. You didn't change your passwords from like your Uber account. Yeah, it was, exactly, right? So the whole idea was that she had used the same credentials for her Ring home surveillance system that she probably used for social media or Uber Eats or whatever. And that's how criminals were able to log in. They were like, oh, we took these credentials, we logged in, they knew who she was, they knew who the kid was, and they're just like on the whole camera system. And I think they recorded the kids crying, you know, you can run, you know, but you can't hide. I see you going in the other room. It was horrible. Mom's freaking out. But that's how credential stuffing occurs. They may start out with like Uber. So maybe you got lazy one day and like, oh, I need an Uber. You set up an account, but you're like, I'll log in using like Facebook or log in using Google. And that's essentially using the same password when you do that. So if you've seen those accounts, and site building tools are notorious for that. When it's like, hey, do you want to use your Google account to log into Doodah or to, you know, Wix or whatever? And I am. But the challenge is you're using the same password for those accounts. So you always want to use a different password rather than I want to log in with Google, I want to log in with Facebook or whatever. Because it could definitely lead to credential stuffing. Because if your Facebook account is compromised, then they're going to check other sites, and finally they're going to check your financial sites. Yes, Sam?
So what about, like, they have LastPass that holds all of your passwords?
I'm LastPass got hacked, you know that?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you were like throwing at me, right?
Yeah.
Obviously it got hacked. I feel like nothing is.
Well, the problem with LastPass is they went after the code. It wasn't like anyone's password information was stolen.
Right.
My thing is just to use your favorite browser. I mean, you can use LastPass, but for the average person, using your browser to store your passwords to me is fine as long as you use the master password that's like the password of all passwords in order to protect your password account. Because we all use browsers. So saying as a Mac user, so you use Safari, right, or Chrome. Okay, Shauna, what about you? You're a Mac user too. Use Safari.
Safari, usually, just because it's native.
Right, ma'am. Your name?
I'm Joy.
Joy. So, what do you use?
Chrome.
Oh, you use Chrome. Karen, what
I do
about you?
like Google Chrome, yeah, that's good.
Oh, use Edge.
Yeah. Edge,
There's nothing wrong with Edge. And Edge has a password.
most time I go to Google.
Use Chrome and Safari? About Chrome? Chrome? Okay. So Chrome has an excellent, well, all of the web-based browser password tools are excellent because not only will they save all of your favorite passwords, but they will give you alerts letting you know if a password that you've used has been leaked on the dark web. So if you see that message saying, hey, you've got 4 accounts that could be potentially compromised, you definitely want to change them because those browsers have the ability to go in and find out, you know, if your passwords have been on the dark web. But credential stuffing is huge, and no one really talks about it because people are just stupid when it comes to their passwords. But it's a huge cyber threat that no one really talks about, and it's one of the tools that you can use as far as making sure that your online accounts are safe to prevent criminals from logging your social media stuff. Now, you can do brute force attack where criminals actually use commonly used passwords. And what they do is they go onto your accounts and they just go through this list. They're not the criminals themselves. They have bots or special programs that are designed to go in and try to break into your online accounts. And that's fairly commonplace as well. And then you've got shoulder surfers. I've only met a few people so far. Have you ever seen those smartphones where it's got the protective screen? Like Adrian had one today. I looked at her phone. I'm like, why isn't your phone coming on?
Kids do that, so parents won't.
Right, exactly. They do? Your kids will wipe off protective screens so they can't?
Yeah, in the past, well,
Oh, really?
when they were teenagers.
Wow, you got some smart kids.
Yeah.
You
She
said
should be running my business.
Right. But yeah, so if you're out and about, getting one of those one-way or screen blockers where you can put it over your screen to prevent people from shoulder surfing, because it's huge, especially during the holiday season. And I hate to say it, I'm sometimes guilty of that. If I'm like a local coffee shop, I'm not stealing passwords, but sometimes I get bored and nosy, and I'm like, look, to see what people are doing. Oh, yeah. And then people don't catch on, because I'm like, oh, I see you're on Facebook too. And then people, oh yeah, I am. And you should be thinking, what the hell are you doing looking at my screen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So is this like some physical you actually put it over?
Yes, it's a protective screen. I forget, it's like a privacy screen, but you can get them for like computer monitors or, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually have them on. I have them a lot when I travel.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I usually put them on my phone and my computer when I travel.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do because you can only look at it directly.
Yeah, the one on my computer I can take on and off.
Right.
The one on my phone though, usually just stays. It's a screen screen protector in case
Yeah.
I did drop it and break it. They're like, you get 3 like $10 on Amazon.
Yeah, they're not bad. But soda surfers are bad. I mean, I even do that at like Target or Walmart. You know, people are putting their pens in. And I can't believe people still do that. So I hope you're not still
And then you
using
know who's being nosy too, because like the other day I was passing my phone to somebody, and the other girl was like, I can't see it, it's black.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, they should be looking at my phone. So pens are bad. And then also there's dictionary word hacking. So let's say you get your dictionary or Bible out and you start pulling out verses or just common words. There's cyber criminals that can actually use a dictionary or use keywords that are in dictionaries. Like maybe they'll use like, oh, I can't think of 2 related words. They're like, oh, I'll use Jackson and then Jack because it's listed in the dictionary. So there's programs that can figure out if you got your password out of a dictionary. So you have to be wary about doing that too. Now there's a good thing that you can do in order to make sure that your passwords are safe. But like I said at the beginning of the presentation, 99% of cybercrime requires user interaction. So keep your stuff and devices safe because if you become hacked, it's either going to be you or somebody who knows who you are. Is that a hacker call?
Yep,
Don't do it.
I know the spam.
So knowledge is key. So let's go through our tips. So number 1 is start using passphrases to keep your password safe. And what is a passphrase? Everyone's asked. So passphrase is basically 2 unrelated words that are put together to make a password. So one of the ones that I always use when I speak is stinky chicken. You know, I mean chickens do stink, but you normally don't think of a stinky chicken, right? Right? Or maybe use purple squirrel. Now you would not want to use purple dinosaur. And why would you think that would be? There's 2 of them. Marty's one, and there's another one that's a purple dinosaur that, come on, you've got to be like 1960s cartoon, Stone Age family.
Harold?
Oh, are you talking about stuff?
No, that's 70s.
That's a.
Come
Oh,
on.
the purple crayon.
The Flintstones. Come
Oh,
on. Dino. And see, you may think that's obscure, purple dinosaur, but you know, you guys thought Barney. But then there's a cyber criminal out there that's like, maybe it's Dino or HR Puff and stuff, which is really obscure.
I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly what color he was.
Yeah.
But I just knew.
But here's an example of using passwords versus passphrases. So there's your passwords. You got Samuel, you got Monkey, you got Blake Street, but or 49 Lake Street. But people look for that stuff. They look for like, you know, people who are using their addresses, people that are using common words like monkey, and they have programs that are designed to find every variation of, say, the word monkey or the word. What are you looking at, Sean?
I can see them, y'all.
Why would you use that?
Which one?
The passphrase. Sean is on the I can see them, y'all. Damn, look at I can see down, y'all. That's a passphrase.
Be or not to be, that is the question.
I mean, to be or not to be would not be a good example of a passphrase because it's a common phrase. Now the way they've worded it is a little bit different, but it's a common phrase that's used. I love ice cream, I wouldn't use that as a passphrase either. One of the best places to go, and do I have a slide for it? No, I don't. One of the best places to go to create a passphrase is a website called useapassphrase.com. You can go to that website and you
So they
can,
don't get hacked?
what, if you're gonna use a passphrase?
Just
It,
ask.
it creates a passphrase for you
Oh.
so that you don't have to come up with passphrases. If you go to the website, it'll create 4 different words that have no relation to each other. Now you can use all 4 as a passphrase, or you can choose 2 out of the 4, add some numbers, and then you've got a passphrase.
Say it again.
Useapassphrase.com. And then it also tells you how long it would take a criminal to guess the passphrase. And we're talking millions of years it would take for a criminal to put together those 2 word combinations. So, but yeah, password keeper we talked about as far as saying run it for me and brought it up earlier, you know. But as far as social media accounts are concerned, again, there's no support at all for that. And you want to definitely turn on 2-factor authentication for any of your online accounts, just in case a hacker gets access to your stuff. So 2-factor authentication works on like your social media accounts and on your site builder tools, as if Joe Schmo found your password and then they're logging in from Long Island, New York, and you get an alert of either text or email that says, hey, Joe was trying to log into your account, you can confirm or deny that that was you or Joe. But even if that happens, you still want to go in and change your password because it means someone has figured your password out, but the two-factor authentication helps keep your account safe and secure. So keep that in mind. And that leads us to step number 2, which is two-factor authentication. And the good thing about two-factor authentication, it comes in 2 forms. But the most secure form is probably through your phone, as far as a text message is concerned. So use that as opposed to email, because a lot of times cyber criminals will commandeer your email account, and then you're sending out or hoping that there's going to be a two-factor authentication come through, and it's going to go to the cyber criminal who's going to say, oh yeah, that was me, logging in. So in most instances, use your smartphone, which leads me to, and this is like a controversial topic before we get to myth or fact, smartphone usage. Who do you give your mobile number to? In my opinion, well actually it's fact, you should have a public number that you share with everyone. And you should have your mobile number, which you only share with close family and friends. Because SIM card fraud is a real thing. This means cyber criminals will actually find out who your data carrier is and transfer your mobile phone number to a new number. And you won't even know until you stop receiving calls. And then they get everything. So it's my suggestion that either you use your public number as a WhatsApp number or a Google Voice number. Both are free, and criminals know that it's like WhatsApp or Google Voice, and they won't try to spoof or even hack into those numbers. So spoofing is the act of criminals taking your mobile number, put it on caller ID, and then calling other people trying to get them to fall for phishing schemes. If that happens a lot, you'll get those great phone calls that say, hey, quit calling me, I'm tired of you calling me with all these spam calls. And you don't want that reputation with your number, and you don't want to take the risk of that number. So whatever you do, keep those mobile numbers, your mobile number safe and secure, and give out like a Google Voice number or a WhatsApp number as your public. Now for our business, we use Vonage, and we rarely get spam calls. And when people, because with the IT guy, and with any business, everyone wants to talk to the owner, right? Kind of the Karen syndrome. Let's speak to the owner. But it's worse when you're an IT professional, because sometimes people want to pick your brain as far as tech tips are concerned. And they're wanting this because they don't want to pay for services. And so I rarely give out my cell phone number because it's always an instance where, what is it saying?
I can attest to that, because I've known her for like 6 years, and I just got it 2 days ago.
She did. But I trust saying that she's not going to share my number, I hope. Oh my gosh, don't you dare. But anyway, so I would highly recommend that you start keeping your mobile numbers private, because that's one of the keys as far as making sure that your online account stays safe from criminals, because they could definitely get your number and then have it forwarded to them as far as two-factor authentication. What is our myth or fact question? Oh my gosh, it's Baby Yoda. So Baby Yoda's real name is Bill. Is that a myth or a fact?
Myth.
Does anyone know what it is? Joy's like, I kind of know, but I don't. You do? Well, oh my gosh, you don't know what Baby Yoda's name is?
I don't.
It's Grogu.
Oh, darn, yeah.
See, Joy could have won.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Next.
I know, I had like a bunch of cookies here, so I throw them out and stuff like that.
Something else.
So login alerts are important as far as all your accounts are concerned. I know when we talk about disconnecting from our devices, you want to turn off those alerts on your smartphone and tablet. And Sang actually showed me an awesome tip the other day as far as, what is it when you, not the alerts, but when you turn it off on your phone.
Not disturb?
Do not disturb. How many people use
iPhone.
that on the iPhone? Well, remember, Android's supposed to have the same
No, I
equipment
don't.
too.
I don't have an Android.
Listen to you, I ain't touching it.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, you have an Android here?
No, I don't know, I got an iPhone.
Well, who has an Android in
I
here?
do.
You're the only one? Everyone else has got iPhones?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
but you can't make.
I'm not trying to change it.
Oh.
I think it
I
just
was
does
the
have
same
a.
way, and then once I got a hold of this, I was like, okay, this is definitely.
So if you want to use the alerts on your smartphone and use Do Not Disturb, one of the alerts that you want to come through is for your login accounts. So if you get an alert from Facebook or any of your social media accounts you want that login alert to let people know that, that someone's logging into your account. No different than if you've got Ring doorbell, Ring does the do-do-do.
You can also change that too.
Well, I know that. What, the Ring or the tone?
Tone.
Well, I like that. But then you know when someone's at your house, right?
Yeah, but then when everybody in the same room is all goes off, everybody's like, who is it?
Yeah. But so that would be an example of an alert that probably you would want. If you're, especially around the holidays, if FedEx is showing up, then you want that Ring alert to know that you've got a package at the door. Because the holidays are filled with, the high seas of the holidays are filled with porch pirates. So they're going around, patches on their eye, driving through neighborhoods and stealing packages. So you want that Ring alert to know when there's a package at the door. Now the scary thing that goes on at our house, my wife is like an Amazon addict. So we get the alert that Amazon's gonna deliver the package inside our garage, which I'm opposed to. Because one time the Amazon driver didn't close the garage door. And it was like in the evening. And so luckily I went out in the garage. I'm like, why's the garage door open? It's because the Amazon guy didn't close it. So I'm not a big fan of that. But that's an alert that we would have because we want to know when the Amazon guy is dropping the package off inside the garage so that we can make sure that the garage door is closed. But alerts are important on those accounts because at least you'll know when somebody other than yourself is logging into one of your online accounts. Make that understood. So number 4 is finding out what information lies about you and your business on the dark web. Because the dark web is like the major part of the internet. So think of the internet as an iceberg. On top is like the part that knocked out the Titanic, right? It's like sitting out there floating, obvious, Titanic, wasn't paying attention, bumps into it, we know what happened. But underneath the surface of the internet is what's considered the dark web, and that's where the government, terrorists, child porn, all of that stuff occurs on the dark web. And you can easily search the dark web with the browser called Tor or Tor, but most of your fun, fuzzy content's not going to be on the dark web. But your information could be on the dark web, and there's several tools that you can use to find out if your information's on the dark web. And one of those is a website called HaveIBeenPwned.com. And it's just type it out in your browser. And I'm kind of curious to see how many of you have been pwned. So get on your smartphones and go to HaveIBeenPwned.com. And the good thing about this website, you can enter in your email address and you can enter in your phone number to find out if that information has been floating around on the dark web.
Okay, did I hear you say a minute ago on the dark web, the government?
Yeah, they do. They do. There's a lot of government secrets that people don't need to be doing.
No.
What, you've been pwned?
So it says,
Oh my God. That saying's like, oh no, and that's what it says. How many times?
it says 19.
Gotta keep that one in. Holy shucks.
And found 2 pastes. That's my, give everybody email.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How many, Sean?
Wait,
I've
I
had
don't know
that
what
email
it's
for
telling
like a
me.
million times.
Oh.
Does it say oh no? Then that's a problem.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, hold on.
It should say no pwnage found when you do it.
Yeah, my phone's not been covered.
Oh, you put your phone number in?
I can
Wait.
just to see that I found it.
Right.
My
phone
number is
number.
safe.
Is it? I love that. Safe.
Do you have to dash?
No, just put the phone number in. Same thing with your email. Just put your email in and find out if you've been pwned.
So what do you
No,
do?
I don't.
Yeah, what do you do if you?
That's amazing.
Can you unphone yourself?
No, you can't. I mean, once it's out there.
Yeah, that's how you fix it.
And once it's out there, it's out there. That's the problem. So the thing you want to do is if it's an email, then you want to change your email password. Because chances are you probably use that email on other accounts, right?
Right.
If it's your phone number, you're screwed.
Is there any way for you to look to see, because it says in this 19 times? Oh, wait.
You can see where the pwnage happens, same. Because it'll say which companies were hacked. So when I was in Joplin talking about this, there were students that were on some website. It wasn't bad or anything like that, but it was like a teen site that had suffered a data breach. And I'm like, well, did you get an email saying that the site had been hacked? And they're like, no, we didn't even know that they suffered a data breach. And that's the problem with a lot of data breaches. That's why your information's on the dark web. Because a lot of companies are like, we don't want to tell anybody we've been hacked. Yeah. So that's why you have to go to I've been pwned every now and then to see if you've been breached. What's up, Shauna?
I have a Yahoo account
Oh yeah, that's been
from
pwned.
30
Yeah,
when the
Yeah.
www started.
Right.
And it's been in 9 data
At
breaches.
least you ain't like saying 19. That's like,
Yeah.
I know that's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, check how I've been phoned every now and then to make sure that your information isn't on the dark web. So those old passwords or those accounts you, oh, was it LinkedIn?
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah, they had a breach back in 2017.
And you just
Wasn't it?
click on that.
2016, okay.
Yeah, it says compromised data, email, and passwords.
Yeah. What does it mean in found no case?
I don't know what that
Okay.
What's it
Yeah, I
say?
don't know.
It says, like I put in
Found no
the Yahoo,
case.
yeah, 13
Lots
data
of
breaches
stuff
and
is
found
like-
no case.
Oh,
PAST.
like
Yeah.
copy paste?
No, not that.
No?
It's something else.
It's not.
But one of the other
paste,
things on how I've been
paste.
phoned is that you can go in and put your passwords in too. There's a section that says passwords. So if you put it in there, you can find out, oh yeah, my G Willikers password that I thought was, yeah.
Some of these say your,
I mean, but this is
your
just so
job
you know. It
titles, your
doesn't-
social media profiles.
Yeah, how do you
Anything
fix
about
it?
it.
Address.
Like you said,
Thanks,
just change your
this is the best
password if
news
your
I've
password is
had all
showing
day.
up.
I tried to tell you
If
it's
it's
an awesome
related to that
website.
email.
Yeah.
All right, so let's breeze through the rest of these slides. I think we got
Or
what?
if you can put in your
We got
password
7
that
minutes,
they're
oh my
showing.
gosh.
Yes.
So this is obvious. Requests on social media, you have some stranger, you know, the account's been not hacked, but duplicated. And you know there's a difference, right? Between a hacked social media account and a duplicated social media account. If your account's been duplicated, that just means someone copied your photo and your stuff and they created a new Insta or Facebook account or even LinkedIn account about you. And it'll find your friends, they'll send out requests. Your friends will say, oh my God, your account must have been hacked, or you send me some goofy email. Your account has not been hacked, it's just been duplicated.
And they
So-
say, oh my God, you're on OnlyFans? And I'm
I love that. No. Amen. But there's you can also, so if that happens, you just report the account to whoever, Insta, Facebook. But if you've been hacked, you'll no longer have access to your website or your social media accounts. And that, you're sunk. You're done. Now I think most of the site builder tools, since you're paying for them, now I don't know about WordPress. WordPress have like customer support? Same?
Yes.
Yes.
You have
Okay,
to
all
provide
right.
them.
So most of those sites are safe. So if your website is compromised, as long as it's a company that offers good customer support, you can call and get support for them. Even Wix, who has no number, you basically have to create a ticket and then they call you back. And Google's the same way. You get support. But none of the social media sites have where you can call and claim your account. And do not fall for any of the scams where people say, oh yeah, we can reclaim your Facebook account. It's a bunch of baloney. They don't offer that support at all. So remember the old Termex or working commercials where the termite, those are what like the requests are, you know. Hey, my car broke down. You know, can I use your phone?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. You don't want to fall for that. So another myth or fact. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I think I brought this up yesterday. So myth or fact, cornbread stuffing is better than white bread stuffing. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
That's a fact.
Oh my God! I knew it! Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Karen, Shauna?
I don't like stuffing.
Oh my God. Someone corrected me and said dressing.
Dressing.
Oh,
It's dressing.
It's
Dressing,
That's
whatever.
it.
I always
It's
say
dressing
stuffing.
with cornbread.
What about you two
Stuffing
gentlemen? What do you
with
think?
white
Cornbread or white bread? Cornbread. What do you say? Yes, all right. Now it's fact because everybody in here except for Shauna like agrees with it. Man, you don't like
I'll
dressing?
go long.
Yes.
Cornbread.
Yeah, you need to go get some
Yes.
cornbread.
There you go. But you need to have dressing.
And to
not
top that off, I
stuffing.
don't know if you guys knew this, but you know Popeyes during the holidays has that fried Cajun turkey
Oh,
that,
that's right,
oh my
yeah.
gosh, it's like the best turkey ever. You like spiciness and turkey? Yeah, you think it's okay?
Yeah, it tastes like ham.
Oh, yeah. Well, you tried. Now this is impossible, so I've got to ask the lone site builder. You back up your HTML website every now and then, correct? Okay. The problem is, I don't know if you can do that with WordPress. You kind of can, can't you? Or is it all stored on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
But
Mine
the
is automatic.
automatic with what?
Backup. Oh,
What?
what do you mean?
Doodad?
With Doodad.
With Doodad. But what if Doodad goes away?
Yeah.
But you can. But I keep the records on my hard drive.
So
Yeah.
I know Wix does not
gonna go
allow you
there.
to. Wix doesn't allow you to back up. Yes.
So I had a problem on my website, and so I went to use the backup.
Right.
It wiped out my photo library.
Holy cow! Are you serious?
Yes,
What did you have to do?
back up what we think it back
You
up.
made the backup
What'd
and
you say?
then
It
it.
probably doesn't always back up what we think it backs
And I
up.
went to
No.
use it because I had
Yeah.
problems on the website,
So, anyway, I'm gonna I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
That's about websites, like HTML. I mean, I feel like it's very challenging these days to find a true HTML designer.
It is. I
Should
agree.
contain it.
But the problem is with a lot of HTML designers saying is that if you find one, then a
Hold
lot
on
of
to
them,
it.
well, yeah, a lot of them want to commandeer your website. Because true story, we
Yeah.
had a customer lose,
Right.
and this shows kind of like how much people don't know about technology. So there was an IT company that did web design and email hosting for RSVP in the Village in Prairie Village, Kansas. So RSVP lost their email. So they created a Gmail account and they were emailing from that. And at some point there, and this was like this time last year, and they reached out and said, hey, we think we're having problems with Outlook. And the problem was, Outlook wasn't receiving emails because when it went in and said, hey, your password isn't right. Yeah, no, we're getting close, we're trying to wrap it up. But so we were like, Outlook ain't the problem. We need to contact who your web designer is. They didn't know.
Oh.
And so we had to search and search and search. And so we finally found the guy. And you know what the IT guy said? Oh yeah, I'm getting out of the business. But I forgot to let a certain customer base know that I was switching over to whatever. And the website had been down, or their email access had been down for months.
Beautiful.
So we finally got it where they can use their email domain and they're all good. But, to go back to what Sane was saying, if you get into anyone who does HTML, make sure they have the wherewithal to let you be in control of the website. Because a lot of them will commandeer it and maybe it's time to renew your domain and you think they're gonna do it and then they don't, and then you lose your domain or you run into Sane's ex and then he claims your domain,
I'll say it is.
I do.
Everybody.
I set up all my domains through Google, so I always get an email.
Well, yeah,
saying,
that's what I was gonna
bang,
say,
bang,
yeah,
bang,
yeah.
bang, bang.
But there are a lot of
Yeah.
people, like Sane was saying, it would be, because the most secure way is through HTML, if you're gonna do a website. The site builder tools always put you at risk, but if you do it strictly through HTML, usually the most secure way unless you invite someone in like with a plugin or just do stupid coding. Like, true story, in Australia, one of the big media companies got hacked because on their website, the API, and I always forget what API stands for, which is a tool that basically allows websites to interact with other websites, someone forgot to take away admin privileges. So a hacker created himself as an admin, and they were able to log into the website and steal millions of social security numbers, phone numbers, and names of all these customers. It was like the equivalent of the T-Mobile hack. So again, back up if you can, but also claim your domain name and your social media. So I don't care if you're not a heavy Twitter user, you need to claim those domains. I don't care if you don't use TikTok. If you use it for yourself or your business, you need to claim those social media accounts, because if you have a good brand and maybe you're on Facebook or Insta or even on LinkedIn, criminals will say, oh, I like this brand. Let's use Sane for example. Sane's everywhere. But let's say Sane wasn't on TikTok and say, hey, she's got a good brand going on. Let's take advantage of that and get some of her followers and more people so then they could claim the TikTok and then just start marketing as she was saying, because the photos
And
are
I'll say, I
out
do
there.
have all of my domains. I'm not on them anymore, but I do have them just for that because I don't want them to take my shit.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And people don't think about that. Even with LinkedIn, even if you have a business and you don't have a business account on LinkedIn, you need to claim it, because criminals are looking at brands out there. Even if you're obscure, you need to claim it. And also, you need to claim your domains as well, because if there's a domain name that you want, you got to claim it before some criminals like, oh, they're going to be coming after this domain name, and then we're going to buy it and we're going to charge them $1 gazillion to make that happen.
Whenever I claimed my domain, I did my several different variations of the end product and everything on that. So it'd be like info and edu, all those ones that I could get a hold of that were associated with that, so that way nobody can get a hold of it.
Right. And then another reminder that you definitely know the difference between a hacked and a duplicate account. And I think there's an example here. So I don't know how to pronounce Steve's last name, but on the left is the fake account and on the right is his real account. So I don't know why he got the Siegfried, well, I don't know why the criminals chose the Siegfried Roy Tigers as like his banner on Twitter, but they did. But look at the number of followers that he has versus who he's following. So the challenge with social media is that if you see an account and someone's trying to connect with you and they have more followers than actual people that they're connected with, then that's a sure sign that that's going to be a fake account. So always be careful and always check that out before you connect with somebody. You know, and then look at when they joined the social media account, because the good thing about social media accounts is that they will keep track. There's no way to fake when you join social media. So if you connected with someone who just joined social media last week, either their account's been compromised and they're trying to rebuild, or they're a hacker and they're trying to take over. So watch out for that stuff and make sure that you're safe. And then so like I said, Wix has our back. Whatever your hosting company is, make sure that you get good support. Like, so since I've never heard of Doodah,
I know.
can you call Doodah, like immediately get somebody?
I didn't even know how to spell it, because I
I
didn't know how
don't-
to spell it.
I know, right?
And then I
It's
really
how they
came up with
pronounce
the
it.
Doodah diner,
Doodah.
right, and Wichita.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's too
It's
funny.
D-U-D-A, T is Doodah.
Yeah, Doodah, yeah.
So, see, I probably pronounced it wrong.
Right.
It could be, but I'm just.
But it's more fun to call it doodah.
I
It
think so
is.
too.
But it's a big thing because one of our customers had a problem with, I forget the name of the hosting company, but the hosting company fell off the ball. And then their website got compromised with like Japanese porn. And then it was challenging. The guy just had it for like brand recognition. But if someone decided to visit this guy's website, then it was nothing but Japanese porn. And we couldn't call the hosting company to say, hey, there's porn on this site, can you take it off? It was non-responsive. So we had to switch him from GoDaddy, or switch him from this hosting company, which was, I think it was HostGator. Anyone heard of HostGator?
Yeah.
HostGator? They've kind of like fallen off the way. So yeah, check with your hosting companies, make sure they got your back. That's for sure. So one last bit of fact. Oh my gosh, I already spoiled it. But let's do this one, okay. So, bit of fact. The first president to pardon in Turkey during the presidential pardon was Abraham Lincoln. Is that a myth or a fact? Everyone's familiar with that president's going to pardon in Turkey. So, was Lincoln the first one? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. My instinct is no.
It's a fact. Lincoln was the first president to pardon in Turkey. Now it fell off, because I think what happened with Lincoln, he got assassinated, right? So maybe somebody's like, yeah, maybe we don't want to pardon in Turkey because if you do, then it's going to lead to your own assassination.
Okay. You gotta
So
trade
then
somehow.
George H. Bush was the one to start bringing it back. So that's why you see it. So anything to wrap things up is that to keep your online account safe, make sure your hosting company has got your back. Make sure, more importantly, that you're using strong passwords for all of your accounts, especially social media. Because again, your website companies are normally going to have your back. They're going to restore your information. If not social media, but your website companies are going to have your back. They're going to be able to restore your data. But social media, no. I don't care if you're paying for whatever. There's no support whatsoever if your account gets compromised. None. So if you lose it, all you have to do is ask Sane.
Done.
No, nothing. It's a done deal. So keep that in mind when it comes to social media.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Would you recommend a site or an app or whatever to save all your passwords into a document?
Well, you could do LastPass, like a password keeper is what you're thinking of. Or again, you can save them in your browser because if you use Chrome or even Safari, it'll allow you to print out your passwords. But those are excellent password keepers. And so the thing I always say about technology, you don't want to overcomplicate stuff.
Right.
You want to keep it as simple as possible. I always say use the KISS method, which is keep it simple. But I never say stupid. I always say silly. I don't want people dumb.
That's
You're feeling
nice.
dumb. But protect your passwords. Be always aware of your social media accounts and make sure that you have good support from your web companies. And another thing with web hosting companies and site builders, watch whenever there are mergers. Because just because a company merged doesn't mean you're going to get the same robust support that you would from the other company.
Like Sprint?
Well, yeah, like Sprint. I don't know why that came up, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't either. Yeah.
Well, I
Because-
don't
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
they.
So, any other questions or any comments or anything like that? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's my
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah. No problem.
We're gonna flip workshops now, so if you have additional questions, you can. If you want to hang around for the next one.